Does adding water to your whiskey do anything but water it down? What does ice do to whiskey? We're diving into the science to discover whether you should try either of these. You might just rethink your pour. I've done the hard work, so you don't have to. I'm Robert Moore. This is School of Wine and Spirits. Today we're talking about one of the most debated questions in the world of whiskey. Should you add water or ice to your whiskey? A few simple drops of water or one large ice cube can completely change your experience, revealing new flavors, aromas, and mouthfeel. In this video, we're breaking down how water and ice, and even the glass you use, can transform your whiskey. Before we dive in, if you're interested in learning about everything in this video and more, click the link in my bio to join our community or scan the QR code on the screen. Moving right along, whether you're new to bourbon, scotch, or Irish whiskey, or any spirit for that matter, and looking to take your tasting experience to the next level, stick around. Let's start with something you might not expect, the glass itself. The type of whiskey you use for tasting can actually make a big difference in how you experience its aromas. Why? Because whiskey is much about aroma as it is about taste. When you use a tulip-shaped glass, like a Glencairn, the narrow opening concentrates the aroma, allowing you to pick up on those delicate scents like vanilla, oak, and fruit that whiskey is famous for. It's almost like the glass is directing all those notes right to your nose. On the other hand, if you use a wider glass, like a traditional tumbler, the aroma disperses more quickly, which can lessen the intensity of those notes. This is why whiskey aficionados often choose nosing glasses or Glencairn glasses for tasting. But if you're looking for a more relaxed drinking experience or a chilled whiskey on the rocks, a tumbler might still be the perfect fit for you. Now let's talk about adding water. Don't worry about diluting your whiskey or ruining it. Adding a few drops of water is actually a popular technique even among experts. But why add water in the first place? Whiskey typically has a high alcohol content, usually around 80 to 90 proof, which could sometimes overpower the more subtle notes in the whiskey. By adding a few drops of water, you reduce the alcohol content slightly, which can open up the whiskey and make it more approachable. Indeed, professional whiskey tasters often dilute spirits to around 40 to 60 proof when evaluating them for competitions. When you add water, it releases certain aroma compounds, allowing hidden flavors to emerge. For instance, you might start noticing fruity or floral notes, a bit of spice, or even hints of smoke depending on the whiskey. The science behind this is fascinating. Adding water causes compounds to separate, making them easier to detect on the nose and palate. Adding water actually creates a chemical reaction that releases those compounds. It only takes a drop. But remember, it's all about balance. Too much water and you lose some of the character that makes whiskeys unique. I recommend starting with a drop or two of water, swirling your glass, and then taking a moment to breathe in the new aromas before tasting. Adjust as you go until you find what suits your palate best. At the other end of the spectrum is ice. Adding ice to whiskey is a bit more controversial, but there's no wrong choice. It's all about personal preference. So what happens when you add ice? As heat increases movement, cold decreases movement at the molecular level. Thus, less movement occurs when you cool your whiskey, which can close the whiskey, just as a drop of water or swirling the whiskey opens it up. In addition, the cold temperature of the ice numbs some of your taste receptors, which can tone down the stronger alcohol burn and make the whiskey more refreshing. For those who prefer a mellowed experience, especially with higher proof or peaty whiskeys, this can be a good thing. But there's a trade-off. As the ice melts, it slowly dilutes the whiskey. As with adding water to your whiskey, this dilution can make it easier to sip over a long period, but it might also mask the subtler flavors. That said, if you want to enjoy a chilled pour with less dilution, consider using a single large ice cube rather than crushed ice. The large ice cube melts more slowly, giving you a cool, refreshing sip without watering down the whiskey too quickly. If you're looking for the chilled but not the extra water, whiskey stones can be a great alternative. Back in the day, way back, before refrigeration, in the summertime the Scots would grab a stone, cold from a cool babbling brook, and drop it in their whiskey to cool it. They keep your drink cool without affecting the flavor. Just pop them in the freezer before using them. So, should you add water or ice to your whiskey? Ultimately, it's all about experimenting to find what works for you. Adding water can bring out subtle flavors and aromas, while ice can mellow out the experience and offer a refreshing twist. And don't forget, glassware can make a surprising difference on how you experience each pour. The best way to drink your whiskey is the way you enjoy it. So grab your glass, try out these techniques, and let us know in the comments how you like your bourbon, scotch, or Irish. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button for more deep dives into the world of spirits. Thanks for watching. Now join our community at the link in the bio and watch our other videos. Cheers!